All right, question 1. Do you see Nintendo Labo as having a purpose for adults? Absolutely. Although Nintendo Labo is initially made for people that are children at heart, it can definitely be utilized by adults, especially the Nintendo Labo VR kit. That kit has a ton of possibilities, especially with the VR Plaza. There are 64 games in there, and then you will be able to unlock the Labo VR Garage, which you can unlock. Possibilities are endless. You can create your own games using that platform, the software, take the games that are already there, the 64 games, tweak them, and learn how to become a programmer, a game designer, using Nintendo Labo's tools. Like, for example, you get to have the 2D and the 3D editing mode, where you'll be able to take different objects and place them, so that if you're creating a platformer where you're like Mario jumping from point A to point B, you'll be able to actually not just code by literally dragging the platforms and putting them where you want and then hit play, kind of like with Super Mario Maker 2. Question 2. What's the most amazing, innovative things that you've seen designed through Labo? There are a ton of examples at labo.nintendo.com where you are able to see all the different projects and competitions. They've, I believe, had 3 or 4 designer competitions where if you look online, you'll see all the winners. They're phenomenal. I think my favorite one that my students have made is how they had these 2 RC cars are having this battle, and they have to figure out what the different RC cars could have to utilize so that their car is A, more stable, and B, easier to knock the other cars over. So the different creations that these kids made on one of the most simple Toy-Con creations in the Labo line has been really inspirational, personally, that I've seen in my own days. Number 3, is it possible to make something meaningful with Labo within 2 hours? That would, to me, I would ask, what do you mean by meaningful? Because it would take you 2 hours to build the Toy-Con blaster. That is a 2-hour project if you're very good at building Labo. Maybe if it's your first time building Labo, it's going to take you 2 hours to build the fishing pole. And just creating that final Toy-Con, the fishing pole, out of cardboard and having it make that clicking sound and have all the intricate parts, that in itself is meaningful. But if you already have that built, within 2 hours, you can code that fishing pole to do something totally different. And I think if you like STEM and STEAM activities, if you like creating things and learning how things work, then anything within the Nintendo Labo line is going to be very meaningful, and 2 hours is going to turn into 20 hours like that. All right, question 4. Have you seen Labo be used to make a product for everyday use? No, I have not. I've seen Labo turn it into like games where you would have a race, and in math class you're trying to figure out timing, so you figure out how long it takes to get one car to the end, and then you time another student and another student, and you have to find the average of the 3 times. But I haven't found it where it's like replacing something else. We've integrated it into our curriculum K through 5, and now we're looking to integrate it K through 12. But it's not replacing anything, so to say. But what I would like it to do is to replace certain curriculum things, like for spelling in a 1st grade classroom. If you are practicing for a spelling test, you're writing the word 5 times on a piece of paper, and that's how you memorize spelling. But what if you turned a Labo game into where you are shooting words that are spelled correctly, and there's a game that you have to grab the right word out that has the correct ball, and you put it into a jar, and depending on how fast you do it, you'll get a higher score, and then that would be shown to the teacher as whether you understand it or you don't understand it, depending on the score that you get. But that would be very hard to make, but it is a possible creation. I just don't know how to make it in Labo yet. What do you feel is amazing ways people have used Labo VR game design function? I think we're very much in the very beginning stage of the Labo VR game design. It's just released a few months ago, actually probably more like, man, has it been that long? April, May, June, July, 4 months now. And we are starting our course next week, and it's going to be for students that are in elementary, middle school, and it's going to be game design using Nintendo Labo VR and Super Mario Maker 2. So we are really going to, for the very first time, for 2 weeks, be teaching these students how to use Nintendo Labo VR's garage and how they can design their own games. First, we're going to take it so that they tweak the games that are already there. Then once they get a feel for how to change the games that are already there, I'm then going to have them start from scratch and ask to create a certain type of game. And I believe that Nintendo Labo has enough tutorials within the menus within there, and with the help and guidance of myself and Mrs. Sherman, I think we're going to be able to come up with some really exciting games, and everything that we create, we're going to put it on my channel. So I highly recommend that you subscribe to that channel, youtube.com/Mr. Vacca. All right. What would I like to see come next with Nintendo Labo? I would like to see an education kit. If there is a way that the Nintendo team could put together, they have 4 kits now, an educator's kit with the top different toy cons that have been the best out of all the different kits, and have a teacher's manual, that would be the ideal kit that Nintendo would put together, at least, you know, for me, because I feel that the Labo is inherently an educational game, and students are going to learn through reading, through following the directions, creating the different toy cons, and learning how to code them to do something beyond what they were originally intended. There is an immense amount of learning taking place, no matter if your student is in 1st grade or if your student is in 12th grade. They are going to learn. So I would love for them to make an education kit. It just would be natural. Question 7. Are there ways that you have seen people make their own Labo gadgets and products using their own style of origami rather than buying the cardboard layouts of the Nintendo Labo kit? Yes, not necessarily origami, but for example, hold on. Okay, this is the gas pedal for the vehicle kit. And as you can see, you put the Joy-Con in right here, and it only is reading whether it's being pressed down or if it's resting up. And that will then determine whether what the speed of the car is, whether you're going full throttle or you're only going a little bit. So in the game, it teaches you that, say this breaks, it's cardboard, you're stepping on it, it's going to break. Like, this thing constantly pops out, and don't worry, I always get it to pop back in. But if this breaks, you can really remake this very easily with normal day products. If you were to take a can and a sponge, or you were to get a binder folder and you taped your Joy-Con on top of it, and you had the sponge right here, and you had rubber bands, you could recreate this exact concept and make your own pedal and not need to use this if this broke. So long answer, sorry, yes. Short answer, yes. You can do it. It's absolutely possible. Your imagination is really what limits you and what you can create. And that is it. So I hope I answered all of your questions. I can't wait to see what you come up with in Canada. This is Makerspace. Sounds like it's going to be phenomenal. If you have any other questions, don't forget that you can always hit me up, whatever. Sorry it took me so long to get this to you. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Peace!